Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming out today. Today is Tuesday, May 26th. My name is Ed Preston. I'm the chairman of the Pennsylvania Vietnam Memorial Fund. Today we continue our partnership with the county that we started, honoring 136 men either missing in action or killed in action here from Bucks County. Today we get to dedicate bridge number 359 in honor of Sergeant John Russell Millikan, U.S. Army, killed in action August 18th, 1968. So welcome all. Thank you so much for coming. For those of you on Facebook, welcome as well. Right now I'd like to introduce the Wallace Willard Keller American Legion Post 242 Color Guard with U.S. Marine Gus Callis for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Mark time mark. Detail halt. Level face. Order arms. Folks, at this time I'd like to ask you to silence your phones as we prepare for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Present arms.
Present arms. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ready? Two.
Port arms. Order arms. Seats.
Thank you, guys. You all may be seated. We have some guests in attendance today. We have a Gold Star family in the back, Joanne York and her family. We dedicated a bridge last year to Larry York, not that far from here. So thank you guys for coming out today. We appreciate it. And I said a prayer for Larry yesterday. We also have the Bucks County Sheriff Danny Schuyler is with us as well. Seisler? Chrysler? Sorry, man. Today we're here to honor Sergeant John Russell Millikan. He lived in Spinnerstown, not that far up the road. His family still lives not that far up the road. They're with us here today, his two sisters. Thank you for coming out. When I talked to the sisters and I asked some questions to get a sense of who he is, so some things really stood out in my mind, and as I further found out more about him, they all really made sense. One, he was a car guy. He had a 61 bubble tap Chevy Impala, very cool, blue, I think it was. Very cool car. Apparently it was his pride and joy. Wanted to be a mechanic when he got out of the Army. It may have been good or bad. My family's been mechanics our whole lives, and mechanic industry is really hard. But he loved his cars. He loved outdoors. Loved trout fishing specifically. But he was an outdoorsman, so I think this bridge for him probably is really a great place. And I'm glad we were able to find it. Nice and secluded, nice and quiet. Easy for everybody to find. I'd like to introduce West Rockhill Township Supervisors David Reese and Hal Shermer.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, veterans, family members, and friends. We gather here today in solemn remembrance and deep gratitude to dedicate this bridge in honor of a brave American soldier, Sergeant John Russell Millikan, United States Army, a son of Quakertown, Bucks County, Pennsylvania, who gave his life in service to our nation during the Vietnam War. Today we are not simply naming a structure of steel and stone, we are preserving a legacy, a story, and a sacrifice that must never be forgotten. Sergeant Millikan answered the call to serve his country during one of the most challenging times in our nation's history. Drafted into the Army through selective service, he began his tour of duty on 17 May 1968. He served with the 25th Infantry Division, 2nd Battalion, 27th Infantry, D Company, as a light weapons infantryman holding the rank of sergeant. Born on 23 July 1947, Sergeant Millikan called Pennsylvania home, with Quakertown in Bucks County recognized as his community. Like so many of his generation, he left behind family, friends, and neighbors who knew him not only as a soldier, but as one of their own. During his service in Vietnam, Sergeant Millikan experienced the realities of war and ultimately gave his life in the line of duty. His life was defined not only by the ultimate sacrifice he made, but by the character he carried, commitment, bravery, and an unwavering sense of duty. As part of this dedication, we recognize and permanently honor his service with these words. On 18 August 1968, Sergeant Millikan was declared a casualty of the Vietnam War. He served with honor in the United States Army. He is remembered by the people of Pennsylvania. May his heroic example inspire us to persevere with clarity and conscience, endeavoring towards peace, mutual respect, and equality for all. This bridge now stands as a permanent tribute to Sergeant Millikan's service and sacrifice. Every person who crosses it will be reminded, whether knowingly or not, that freedom is not free, and that it has been secured by men and women willing to stand in harm's way for others. As we reflect today, this dedication ensures that his name will live on, not only in memory, but in the daily life of this community. As we reflect today, we honor not just one soldier, but all those who served, and especially those who never came home. We remember their sacrifice, we honor their service, and we pledge that their legacy will endure through generations. It is with great respect and gratitude that we officially dedicate this bridge as the Sergeant John Russell Millikan Memorial Bridge. May it stand as a symbol of courage, a reminder of sacrifice, and a testament to a life given in service to our country. To Sergeant Millikan's family, your loss is deeply felt, and your loved one's legacy is now forever part of this community's story. To all veterans present today, we thank you for your service and your sacrifices. And to all gathered here, may we never forget the cost of freedoms we enjoy. God bless Sergeant John Russell Millikan. God bless our veterans, and God bless the United States of America.
Thank you, Dave. This is his legacy, but it's also the legacy of the men that served with him. So I'm going to ask something. I know it's a very, very tight community here. So I'm going to ask everybody that went to school with him to please stand up for a minute. Should be a bunch of yous. Cool. So these are all John's classmates. And I know a few of you did serve, so thank you for serving and welcome home. I'd like to introduce Bucks County Commissioner Diane Marsaglia.
Good morning. It's great to see all of you today. We've been doing this for a few years, and every couple years I kind of trot out this story, and I felt a need to do it again, maybe because it's Memorial Day. But in the end, it's because I want to emphasize why this is so important. So I carry this bag with this shadow box to every one of these bridges. It has the bracelet that I wore for Lieutenant Bernard Conklin, who was killed in action, actually missing in action in 1966. I wore it from when I was 9 until I went to college. Then it sat on my bureau until I got married in 1986 when I put it in this, and it has stayed for 40 years on my wall. I have never forgotten him. Then in around, I guess it was 1999, I put a plaque up on the virtual wall, and people would write to me once in a while, people who went to school with him and things. Later on, I did more research, and ironically, I found out that one of his crewmates that was shot down is buried right near my daughter in the Newtown Cemetery. So it kept going on. There was one more step that I felt connected to him. But in 2010, I got an email from his grandson. his grandson Jeffrey, who said to me, "Can you tell me about my grandfather?" I couldn't tell him anything. I didn't know anything other than what the military had online about him. So I told him that, and instead he wrote back and told me everything he knew, told me about his grandmother. I sent her actually my original bracelet, but he stayed in touch, and every time he has found something out about his grandfather, he shares it with me. About 4 years ago, another grandson who's in the military wrote to me. He didn't write back after I wrote to him, but Jeffrey, who now has his master's, went to the University of Tennessee, lives in North Carolina, he gets in touch maybe once every year or so, just to let me know how things are. So the reason I share this is not about me, it's about Jeffrey. And it's about everyone here, whether if you served in Vietnam, someone who's been lost in Vietnam, we need to remember their story for their children and their grandchildren and their cousins and their nieces and nephews and those they went to high school with. It made me sad that his grandchild had to ask a stranger for information. But I think we're trying to make up for that now. We're trying to learn what we can, dedicate bridges, and make sure that we always remember. So thank you, and my best to the family. Thank you. Oops.
Thank you, Diane. I'm going to ask Hal Shermer to come on up for a second.
Okay. Mr. Rice actually took most of the best points, so I'm going to be very short. But part of this is somebody who actually passed away before I was born. And a big part of this is recognizing that we stand on the shoulders of giants, and we think we are tall. And it's not because of what we have done, but because of what others have done for us. Thank you.
Well said. We are very tall by the likes and kind people like John, Larry, and all those that served and gave the ultimate sacrifice for us to be able to stand here in this beautiful place right now and do what we're doing, but not only this, but anything we choose to do. And that is something that is wonderful. Yesterday was Memorial Day. If you weren't at a Memorial Day service, it was a great time. I know I was at one. Vince, I'm sure everybody here was at one, and a lot of things were said and passed on, and a lot of things to reflect on. And I said it last time, and I'll say it again, following up on how is our job as a community is to embrace the families that have given everything. Their sons, their daughters, husbands, wives, brothers, sisters. Our job is to embrace that family and make sure that they stay whole and that we keep their memory alive and keep their family in our thoughts and our prayers and make sure that they know that they're supported, because their grief is every day. Some of us, most of us, look at Memorial Day and that's the only day we think about these friends. But we should be thinking about their families. Their families suffer this every day. The Gold Star family is a burden, but sometimes I think it's a blessing. I've met many, and some have been able to generate so much love and compassion as a Gold Star, and reach out to other Gold Stars and bring them all together and promote healing and going forward and that little bit of closure. So I think our job as a community is to do that. And by being here, we are doing that. And every time you drive by one of these bridges, see one of those green signs, you get a minute to say thank you. Think about that man or that woman. I'd like to introduce U.S. Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick.
It's an honor to be with John's family today. And Ed and I were together yesterday, and Ed always reminds us that for every veteran hero who we've lost, there's a Gold Star family that is left behind, that is left to deal with a lot of pain and anguish. And I had a chance to talk to John's two siblings, and John passed away on August 18th, 1968, on your mom's birthday. And word traveled back to Pennsylvania on Susie's birthday, who still lives here in Quakertown. And those are wounds that never heal. They never heal. They get better with time, but they never heal. And Ed, thanks for always reminding us of that we're not just honoring the veterans, but also the Gold Star families. And I love the movement which has occurred, and Ed's done a tremendous job here and has spread in many communities across America of getting back to our roots, of naming infrastructure after our hero veterans. Philadelphia Philly Stadium is Citizens Bank Park. It used to be called Veterans Stadium. And that is the case, by the way, in many, many communities across America. Train stations, infrastructure, bridges, you name it. There is a movement, community by community, to get back to our roots, to honor and name infrastructure after our veterans. Not corporations, not elected officials, but our veterans. The reasons why we can do the things like cross over these bridges, like go to sporting events, like go to a train station in safety. And I just want to say to John's family, thank you so much for the service and sacrifice that you gave through John and you've given through your own service and your own suffering. And thank you for supporting all of our nation's veterans. And Memorial Day is a very, very reflective time. It's not a celebratory time. It was never meant to be a celebratory holiday. It was meant to be a commemoration, to honor all of those who did the exact opposite of what human instinct is. Human instinct is to flee danger, to run away from gunfire. And John and so many others who raised their right hand did the opposite. They ran towards danger at great physical sacrifice, at great psychological and emotional sacrifice, all in the name of serving a cause bigger than themselves. What a noble and honorable way to live one's life. So to John's two siblings, we had a flag flown over the United States Capitol in honor of John, and I wanted to present that to you.
Thank you, Brian. I'm going to ask Susie and Mary if they would take a minute and come on up to that sign right over there, because we're going to get ready to pull that sign off and dedicate this bridge. But a few things about John. So when I called the sisters and said, tell me about John, the first word that came out of Susie's mouth was loyalty. I thought, oh, okay. And then I talked to some friends, and they said that he was the most loyal stand-up man that they'd ever met. That word kept coming, kept coming, kept coming. So when we were doing our research, I found that he earned an Army Commendation Medal with a V device for valor, a Bronze Star, and a Silver Star. Now, for those of us that are not in the military, they are four very, very high awards in the chain. The Silver Star is the fourth highest award you can get in combat. Lots of people have gotten them, I'm sure. Probably tens of thousands. However, John received all three of those in 93 days in combat. That to me sounds astounding, how you could do 3 different acts of valor, that's one every 30 days, that would cause you to be in such harm's way to protect your brothers in arms, and that's what he did. John always took point on his patrols, which meant he was always in contact first. He was the one that always led the charge and always was in front to protect his brothers. In the end, those acts cost John his life on August 18th, 1968. So I find that the acts of valor that we see throughout these bridges at 21 years old, again, 93 days in country, is just incredible to me. And this bridge seems so insignificant, but yet so meaningful. So at this time, I'd like the sisters to just unveil that sign so we can call this bridge Sergeant John Russell Millikan Memorial Bridge. I'd like to ask Mary and Annette, Susie.
Thank you, everyone, for coming. It's really an honor that you honored my brother today. I was only 13 when Johnny died, and even though I was very young, I still knew about my brother because he was a good friend, That was never more evident. During trout season and hunting season, the house was always full of his friends sleeping over so that they could get up early the next day and be the first trout fishing and the first hunting season. I can remember my mom making breakfast and for all these guys, and she loved it. She absolutely adored it. Johnny was very loyal to my mom. He loved my mom dearly. And for him to die on his birthday is just mind-boggling. I can remember her standing there on her birthday, and it was a Sunday, in front of the stove saying, "There's something wrong. Something is wrong." My mom had a sixth sense that something was wrong with one of her children, and that's just how she was, and that's how he was. Mary, would you like to say something?
Yes, I'd also like to thank all of you for coming today. I'm actually taken aback. I had no idea that there would be this many people. And I especially want to thank all of his brothers for coming and for not forgetting him, and the work that the Memorial Fund does to make sure that people like my brother are never forgotten, because they never are to us. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to introduce Matt Allen, Director of Bucks County Veterans Affairs.
Thank you, Ed, for making me go after the family. 12 years I've been to opening day trout season, and I've never caught a trout in my entire life. In 1996, I'm actually in the Courier Times for untangling my fishing line with my brother. So it's awful. No one ever prepares you for the knock on the door that you receive that day. The countless veterans and the families that endure that knock, no service member can ever justify the conversation that they have with the families each time they do make that knock on the door. Yesterday was Memorial Day, and I walked in the Doylestown Memorial Parade, and it was packed, but not like usual because of the rain, so I'm told. However, every single person clapped, and I got goosebumps. And I started thinking about work, which is awful on a weekend, but it started making me think about today. And I got goosebumps and chills because today, although the day after Memorial Day, is still a day to remember your brother. And now everyone in the community will remember his name and be able to look his story up. And I pass over a bridge that we passed dedicated before Jay Moon, and I think about him every time I cross that bridge, and I cross it every day. Now I live pretty far from here, but I will make it a duty to come up here and cross this bridge going forward. I am still sorry for your loss, and I know it doesn't change anything, but his memory will now live on forever. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. I'd like to introduce Bob Harvey, Bucks County Commissioner.
Thank you, Ed. I'd like you to think about your 21st birthday. Now, depending on how much of a partier you are, you may not remember much about your 21st birthday. But there's probably something you'll remember: who you spent it with, where you went, what you did. Maybe you'll remember how you felt the day after your 21st birthday. But Sergeant John Millikan was a month past his 21st birthday when he lost his life. He was a sergeant in the United States Army, which meant that he had a role commanding other men in combat, far from home. Only 93 days in country. It's a tremendous burden we put on our young men and women to give them that responsibility, to put them in harm's way, to ask them to defend us in every way possible, and if necessary, do so with their lives. You think about the years that John did not have. All that time since. I'm so glad to see, obviously, his sisters here and your family, but also the friends from high school who wanted to be here, because it shows that you haven't forgotten him. His memory is alive in your mind. You think about his face. You think about the things that that happened that made you laugh. Maybe you think about a time he made you mad. Okay? But he's still there. And thanks to this program, which the county's proud to have launched with Ed and Pennsylvania Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund, we are closing in on 24 bridges across this county. And we make a special effort, as we have today, to dedicate bridges nearby where that man lived, that young man lived. And all 136 Bucks Countyans who lost their lives in Vietnam were men. But this very well could have been a bridge that he went fishing off of, that he drove his car back and forth over. Maybe a little too fast on a road like this, enjoying himself and enjoying his car as a 19 and 20-year-old should do, and often does. But the fact that you have this turnout of family and friends, the fact that you have is behind me, okay, the members of the American Legion VFW post, as well as the Warriors Watch. This is what John Millikan fought for. He fought for a community. He fought for us to be together in good times and bad. He fought so that we could be here today. He gave his life for us. And the least we as a county can do is to make sure that his memory will be here forever. So thank all of you for being here, especially, the veterans behind me, the Warriors Watch, the members of county staff who helped put this together, setting up the chairs and tables and the sound systems. And thank you, Ed, and the entire Pennsylvania Vietnam Veteran Memorial Fund for all the work you do to keep our memories alive. So thank you all for being here. God bless, and God bless America.
Thank you, Bob. Excuse me. I'd like to thank a few people that we didn't thank earlier. East Rockhill Township for closing off the roads, taking care of all this for us. We appreciate it. ETC Signs takes care of getting our signs out and making them up for us, which is really great. We really appreciate that. I'd also like to recognize one guy in the audience today, which nobody really sees. He's standing behind that camera right there. His name is Ray. Today's Ray's birthday. Ray, happy birthday, my friend. Ray, I think, has been at everything that I've ever done behind that camera, helping me tell the world about these heroes that we have. Ray also served in Vietnam as well. Go Airborne. Oh, sorry, it's West Rockhill, not East Rockhill. It's been a long weekend. I don't know who puts these bridge dedications after Memorial Day, because some of us are really busy during Memorial Day.
We fixed that like 1898, so no encouragement.
No problem. I'll get it right next time, I promise. Anyway, thank you all. And again, Ray, happy birthday, and thank you for supporting us, man. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Our next dedication will take place on Tuesday, June 9th, in honor of Corporal John Michael Lyons, killed in action September 16th, 1968, just 28 days after John. So at this time, I'd like everyone to rise and have Jim McDevitt sound taps and the American Legion Post 242 please retreat the colors.
Present arms.
Detail, present arms. detail. Right face. Forward march. Hello. Hello. Hello.
All right, friends and family, thank you so much for coming out. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you next month. If I could ask the family just hang out for a few minutes, we're going to take some pictures. That'd be great. Oh, hold on. Everybody actually go back to your seats for 1 second. Son of a gun. I forgot something.
Stand up and grasp hands and then...
I forgot about this. This was given to me earlier by Paul Gerhardt. Quakertown has a Hometown Hero banner program. Apparently this is an extra one of John that they just happen to have to give to you folks. So it's my honor on behalf of Quakertown to now thank you very much.